Happy Friday afternoon, everybody. I see that everyone is kind of getting their feet wet and really moving through Module 4 in a positive way. I was looking through just all of the assignments and just reading through some of the discussion posts. Please keep in mind that in regards to the assignment, the autobiography is due Sunday, the 11th, and the reason for that is because all of grades are due very quickly after class closes. So, and this is an assignment that I feel like you're giving me a lot of information. I want to make sure that I give you the respect and time that you deserve in getting from writing this. So if you have an issue, please let me know. I am grateful to those 6 people who've already turned it in, and I will begin grading those tomorrow. So just so you know, you may not have, some of you turned it in a couple of days ago. I just try not to grade them too quickly, so I'm taking my time waiting until tomorrow to start those. I did get to go through the discussion post, and remember, that's not your first priority in this module. We're flipping this script a little bit because your paper is due so early. I said it's okay to hold off. So of course the module discussions are very slow right now, but I was very interested to see the discussion that's happening with around the Greatest Generation post. I hope you all really enjoy the video that I posted in here. It's one of my favorites, actually, just visually to watch, is this generations throughout history and really looking at the interpretation of what all of these generations are and what they bring to the table. And please take your time, watch it, maybe watch it again, because it really shows a lot of the struggles that the generations have been involved with also, and the stereotypes attached to those generations. I just find it to be so interesting as we go through. I've also attached here a document for you. And this document goes through generations and gives just a very quick summary of generations and what they were kind of responsible for, what were some of the things that were the highlights for them. And a couple of you have brought up in your posts already that as soon as you heard about what's the greatest generation, you thought of this generation, which is the GI generation, because it has been called the greatest generation. That's what it's been known as throughout history for us. A couple of other folks mentioned the boomers, right? Because the baby boomers is a huge generation. And for some of us that are on the older end in this class, these are our parents. And some folks were mentioning just about using technology and how difficult it is, because these are the people who need technology because they're not too old. They're not like the mature and silent. They're not the GI generation. These are people who are still engaging with work or would need to engage with technology in a very active way. And it's a little bit frustrating. I too can speak to that, as my mom is a member of this generation. And kind of as you go down through, I tried to take and give what are the basics of each of the generations for you, just so that you could see in quick summary who these folks are. And the most important thing we can learn through these generations and by studying these generations is basically somewhere in this is going to be somebody who is raising a child that you are going to be teaching, or somebody in this group here is going to be a colleague of yours in some way, shape, or form. It's not unlikely that you would have people in your classroom that could be part of any of these generations as co-teachers, as IAs, as colleagues in your building, as administrators, as media specialists. So it's really important that we know what comes along with each of these generations. What were the responsibilities? What were they taught? And remember, a lot of culture is implicitly taught. So they may have just picked up parts of these cultures without being explicitly taught this is how you behave because you are a Generation Z or you are a generation whatever, a mature and silent generation. So it's very good for us to learn about these generations so we can have sensitivity to how people may behave, how they may look at situations, where they may be along that cultural spectrum. And also just keeping in mind that we are somewhere in these generations also. And remember that every activity in our lives, every interaction that we've had has helped to build us into the people that we are today. So that's the purpose of the generations assignment, but it's one of my favorite discussion boards to read. And if we were live in a class, we would actually be going about this a little bit differently with some folder scavenger hunt and some debate style discussion, which is always a little bit lively because people get very opinionated when it comes down to the generations. All right, so your discussion forums, remember, they are not your top priority until you are finished with that autobiography, and then you jump in and you do the discussion boards. For me, that would mean that Sunday, for those of you who haven't posted anything yet, Sunday would be the very first day that you'll be posting in those discussion boards so that you'll have a very active next week. All right, thank you very much for your time, and I hope you all enjoy your weekend. Thank you.